Hi, it's Xanthe. Yeah, it looks a bit funny at the moment, but what I'm doing is I'm just putting a bend in my layers and I'm going to do a little bit of makeup and then take these out. So the colours that I'm going to wear today is kind of like, what people call them, it's inconsistent, but it's basically kind of like a sort of deep magenta family. Some people call it burgundy, some people call it berry, whatever. And then with this denim jacket, some people call this indigo, and then this dark brown pants, which some people call chocolate brown. So basically, with the colours, we're kind of looking sort of the deeper colours again, which I prefer on me, and then the jacket is reasonably dark, in the kind of bluish family. The thing is that I just wear what I prefer. So I like colours that have a little bit of warm and a little bit of cool. So today, because we've got a little bit of violet, I've therefore pulled out some colours which have a little bit of violet in them, and it could be violet pigment, or in this case it's got ultramarines. But these colours, they've also got yellows, reds and blues if you read the ingredients, as well as the iron oxide, which are earthy reds, earthy yellows and blacks. So I've pulled out, maybe I'll use a few of these colours, and then maybe because of the jacket I might use the middle one, which is sort of similar to the jacket as an eyeliner. So I kind of choose colours which I like swatched on me, and then what I do is from that collection, because I'm very neutral really, if when I go a little bit warmer, a little bit cooler, so warmer going a bit more orange, cooler going more violet really, that's what I choose. So anyway, let's put some makeup on and then we'll take my hair out if we get time. So I'll just put on the moisturiser that I use as my main moisturiser for over a decade, Cetaphil, with sensitive skin. And I've already got some on, I've already got some SPF on, but I just put a little bit more on just before I put my makeup on, so nice and smooth. Now I'm going to use the foundation sticks again. I'm just going to try and do something pretty quick. So I've got here the rather expensive for me Milani Conceal and Perfect Blur Skin Tint Stick in 04. What I find is that it's quite a close match to my neck and my hand, but it's probably a fraction light really by itself, but that's what it looks like by itself. And then I've got this other one which was only a quarter of the price, which people get raving about, Essence Foundation Stick 160. I think it performs very well, very similar. The only thing I really don't like about it is this terrible smell that they put in, and it is a perfume because I looked at the ingredients. So this one looks slightly peachy on me. I don't know if you can see. I'm trying my best to have a bit more lighting. But that goes quite well with my cheek area. So and I'm just going to show you if I blend them together. I mean, either of them blended out look kind of fine really, but if I blend them together, it's pretty much the best match for me. So somewhere in between. This one's described as a neutral warm golden, this one's described as a neutral cool rosy peach. So and I find that I like to add a little bit of rosy to my cheek areas, just because I don't have a lot usually of colour in my cheeks. So I'm kind of been finding that I've been preferring to use them together. So this one, more of this redness just to kind of tone it down, such as around here, and just kind of just anywhere I don't want it more pinky, and then anywhere that I do want a little bit more pinky, with this one. So I really wish cosmetics companies would not fragrance their products, because one, it can irritate sensitive skin. I've got sensitive skin. Two, when it smells by your nose, it's really annoying. Anyway, I'll probably put a little bit of the other one on the nose. These are, yeah, pretty easy to use, except the little cap is annoying. Just suppose it's to try and stop it drying out too much. So I'm just going to blend that in. And so I just use the buffing brush for that. It's a little bit firmer than your very fluffy brushes for powders. And it doesn't give full coverage, well, not with one thin layer like I've used, but it just, I think, you know, makes the skin look a bit better than, especially if you've got hyperpigmentation like me when it's a little bit blotchy. So it's quick as, because otherwise if I use a liquid foundation, I've just got to adjust it with the colour. So I think I'm very firmly neutral, even though there's often quite a bit of yellow visible on my complexion, but again it depends on the lighting. So that's what they often will call olive, and you kind of look a bit yellowish and often quite muted as well, the complexion. Yeah, with the eyes, I did buy this this cover stick essence, but I don't think it's as good as the foundation. But this one is a very close match to my skin tone, so very close. Well, it's probably turns a little bit peachy again, but it's kind of what do you call it? Neutral. Yeah, pretty neutral. I find that warm foundations are often too orange or peach. Cool foundations are too pink. So this is not too bad. I think I prefer the other one, but if I was just using a little bit just to tone down anything that's still kind of poking through. So my skin's kind of quite patchy, because my face gets the most sun exposure. It ends up, oh, I try to blend it there. It sort of ends up having the most sun damage. Just make sure. Unfortunately, I don't have great light in this room, so I'm in shadow basically, so I've got some light reflected off the sky plus whatever artificial lighting I've added. So it's a real pain to try and show reasonably accurate colours. So I made a sort of like a colour thingy, which I forgot to check today. That should be white and it should be black, and then there's certain colours that of my paints I know very well to try and, you know, get as reasonable colours as I can. My main problem is that the lighting's pretty dark in here. Anyway, so I'm going to put on a little bit of blush to show just how much difference blush makes. So I'm going to use Nude by Nature Nude Berry. Now this one is both warm and cool mixture, which mutes it down. So it is got the iron oxides again, so that, you know, sort of orangey tones. Plus it's got violet pigment in it, so coolest. So trying to mix it together, it's kind of you know, kind of burgundy-ish, and I think goes quite nicely with when I'm wearing anything that's got sort of violet in it. So you know, if you mix a red and a blue, you kind of get, you know, these kind of purpley kind of colours as well. But this is more sort of still red leaning as opposed to very blue from a colour theory perspective. But it's not like a really bold magenta, so you get your magenta is between your blue and your red. The very bold magentas tend to be a bit overpowering on me, and the orange tends to be not great on me either. I do suit more the red family, but I kind of like something with a bit of purple in it as well, just a little bit more reddy purple. I think goes with my kind of complexion. Now lipstick. Pulled out a few options that might go. We've got Porto Please, which is one that I like to use. That's a Revlon one. And we've got Raisin Rage, which is sort of like a neutral kind of muted red, darker brownish kind of red that leans a little violet. I think that we're going to go with the Raisin Rage to see how that goes. So I think that goes really nice with this kind of colour. It's almost an exact match actually. So it's kind of sort of a violety red that's a bit brownishy muted as well. Rather than, you know, like a really bold purple or something. Just blotted some of it. Getting quite warm in the got my window shut to sort of keep sound out. Now I'm just going to put a little bit of eyeshadow on, and then we'll just pull my hair out. So not literally pull my hair out, pull the rollers out. So I think what I'll do is just add a little bit of these kind of pink tones. Although I do have a burgundy one, I'll find it. The most burgundy colour I've got is this Scandalised Bricks and Brown by Rimmel. Let's just put a little bit of that one on first, as a starting point. Yeah, I think that's going to go better. And we'll skip those pinky ones. Although some of those pinky ones will go fine because there's like a brownish one there. Goes fine with that one. So I might just use that one there. Always improvising on those videos, by the way, so nothing planned out apart from that I've pulled out some colour options that I might use from my very small collection. And I often will mix colours together too, just to kind of just get more colour results. Now I'm just going to put a slightly warmer one again there and muted. So it's kind of a mixed palette where it's got some brighter ones and some, they might be a bit too pinky, kind of a bit overboard there. Right, just going to dust some of that off. We're going to add a shimmer, so we'll go for, don't want it too pinky, so I'll go for that slightly goldy one there. Shimmer on the lid there. And then I thought for contrast, because you can mix your warms and your cooler colours. So these are kind of warmer kind of pinks in a way. But, you know, kind of neutrally a little brownishy, you know, kind of thing. So then we're going to go in with this one, that blue there. I don't think we've used that one before, so I'm just going to find out what it's like. So I'll just take a little bit with an angle brush. I'm just going to test it out. It's almost black. So yeah, let's give it a go. Now, black is a little bit harsh on me as makeup. I can get away with it with clothing. I've never actually dyed my hair black. Now, I have got a semi-permanent in my hair with that developer, and it does actually have blue pigment in it, so I probably don't want to go overboard using it, because I don't want to, you know, cool off my hair too much. So it's a chocolate colour. So I kind of want to, you know, stay neutral with my hair and even a touch of warmth, but not, yeah, not go, I don't know, I think black would be too harsh. So, in some lighting my hair does look quite dark, but it's nowhere near as dark as black. So I've put a little bit of that on. You can, it sort of looks like a, kind of like a dark navy blue. The last maybe year or so I've been wearing only brown mascara, and the tubey mascara, Natio brown, and it's sort of, I just find it just a little bit softer than the black that I used to wear, and I'm finding that I'm wanting to wear it more often. It's just, it sort of looks more natural, but just enhancing a bit my lashes. So I usually only bother with one coat, and I usually only bother with the upper lashes. Just and as far as my brows go, sometimes I use a brow pen just to add a little bit more definition, but most of the time I can't be bothered, and I'll just and also because I'm a glasses wearer, I don't really want makeup on my glasses, so just do that. Now I could, for my blush to set it will make it last longer, I could use a little bit of this other one I pulled out. So this is a Chi Chi Dusty Rose, and I find myself nearly always leaning for the one that's got a little bit more kind of violet in it, and so it's a little bit cooler, but it's also not a very bright colour, so that's just on by itself. It's still very soft, but so rather than going for the really bright corals and things, so I just put a little bit on, just make sure we got no blotchy bits, and I just put a little bit over that blush that I had before, and I think that's, we'll also put a little bit, I think, around the chin area. Nice. Okay, I'm just going to wash my hands and then we'll pull my hair out and then I'll get changed as well. Okay, so as far as my hair is concerned, I've washed it. I dried it off with a hairdryer because it's winter here, so and then when it was nearly dry, I'll just warm up the bits and just put some of these Velcro rollers in, and then just warm it up again, but without frying it. And when it's nearly dry, so we're not there forever. So then, and then when you, especially when it's warm, and then when it cools, it sets. So that's why leaving it in and doing the makeup. So, so what I do is I don't bother really with the back, except so I just kind of roll it off. So I've got a layered hairstyle. My hair naturally is straight with a slight wave. But I find that when I encourage the wave at the bends, I find that when I encourage a bend in the layers, it just sits a lot better. And if I need to refresh it, I could just use a flat iron, a few days later. But most of the time, it sits completely fine until I wash it again. So it's reasonably low maintenance, and I seem to get away with about 10 weeks or so between haircuts. I kind of want a reasonably low maintenance because I'm not a high maintenance personality wise anyway, and also I just didn't want it to be super expensive as well. So and then when I get it cut, I get it cut right back and texturised and everything. So it's basically, these sort of layers that swoop here. So they're called short layers. And where my shoulders go, it tends to flick. So I'm just going to get changed. It's basically the same colours. I might look a bit like I've gone back to the 80s. I actually did have a hairstyle. It's probably one of my first times I went to the salon as a teenager. It wasn't until my late teens I went to the salon. So I had a hairstyle similar to this. I used to wear denim, so I usually don't brush out my hair because the waves will drop anyway, just a slight wave. So using this size, which is get my hand around like that. Oh no, that looks a bit rude, doesn't it? Yeah, so I usually try to go for this size, and then that's the next size up, then you can get even bigger, but I just sort of find I prefer the size, so it's probably about 2.5 centimetres, just estimating, maybe a little more, but really cheap because I don't own one of those really expensive hot styling tools, which I think just dries out your hair anyway and damages it. So I try to use heat other than just drying off with the hairdryer as little as possible, just to keep my hair healthy. Thanks.